Hello and welcome to another Illustrator tutorial. This is the one that I'm going to call a symbol tutorial. It's drawing a lotus symbol. I saw another tutorial on the internet like this and I thought, oh, I'll have to make my own. Anyway, to begin, let's go into Illustrator and go File, New, and just choose a landscape orientation. Doesn't really matter what the size is, and I'm just going to call this one Lotus symbol. Okay, and click Create. Now this is a lot of fun. So if you take a look at this one, we're going to go first to the ellipse tool. Okay, and then we're just going to draw a simple ellipse. Now we want to make sure there's no fill. So we click over here and remove the fill. We just want that black outline. Okay, and so just draw an ellipse like around this size. I'm just going to turn off this gradient here. And then we're going to move to, not the pen tool, but the anchor point tool. And you're going to click the top here to remove the point, and you end up with a little point like this. So you're going to end up with this shape. Now, if you go back to the selection tool, okay, and we go off of here, and we're going to select it again, but we're going to hold down the Option key. And you notice that there's double arrows now? So with the double arrows, I can just hold down the mouse button and drag. See all the alignment tools that Adobe put together. It's beautiful. Now we have two, and this is the shape that you want. Now I want you to select both of these. And you notice when we select two objects, it automatically brings up the alignment tools. But before we use the alignment tools, I just want you to group these as a single object. Okay. Now on the alignment tools, what we want to do is we don't want to align the two objects with each other. We'd like to align it with the artboard. So you've got align to selection, or you should have align to artboard selected. Okay, so just make sure that is selected. And so that way, when you've got both of these selected like this, you can go like this. Align to center of the artboard, and then align to center of the artboard, horizontally and vertically. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this really cool thing under the effect called transform. Now in transform, you just click preview, and we're going to do 15 degrees on this rotation. And this is the cool part. I love this. It reminds me of that pendulart tool they used to have. And you just click the up arrow to increase the number of copies. And you go around in a circle like this until you've completed the circle. Now, isn't that cool? Now, if you take a look at this, this is still actually a single object. And the way you can tell this is I'm just going to hold down the Option key to keep it in the center. And then I'm going to alter the shape of just the one object. And watch what happens. I'm going to make it wider. And it alters the whole thing because all those copies right now, can make it super thin, like this. So it gives you an idea that this is really a powerful tool. I'm just going to make it a little smaller and tighter like this. There we go. And you just kind of want a shape like that. Now, in order for me to actually color this, and that's the next stage to color this, I actually have to make this into separate objects. And the way you do that is go to Object, Expand Appearance. And once you expand appearance, now they become separate objects. Now we can do what's called live paint, and each of these sections can be individually painted. So what we're going to do is, we've got this selected like this, and now we can go to the live paint. Let's see, where is that? That's this one here? No. Let's see, is it there? No, the next one. This one, live paint bucket tool. Okay, and we need to choose colors. So let's see, I can choose red. And with my live paint bucket tool, I'm just going to fill in some of these objects red. Now this is tedious, so I'm going to go through this. Let's see. And we're going to do a couple of paints with this just to make it look really interesting. And I'm going to show you, you're going to leave, like, these are essentially transparent. As you remember, we said no fill. So we're going to fill this like this, and then I'm going to choose another color, and I'm going to fill these, wrong one. These inner objects, which is much harder to do here because they're so tiny. I wonder if I can just drag around. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. Let's undo. I must have dragged into There we go. Okay, so we've got two colors in there. Now, because it's transparent, I want you to try doing this next. We're going to go to the ellipse tool again. Okay, and the fill for this ellipse now, let's see, make sure I haven't got anything selected because I don't want it to actually change colors or anything. So I'm going to go to the ellipse tool and I'm going to change to a gradient. Okay, now the gradient I want to choose is a radial pattern. And I'm going to change the colors of that. So let me grab my swatch panel here. It's going to remove the swatch panel for a minute so that I can play with it in the gradient panel. And we're going to do a red and yellow. And maybe we'll do a green in the middle just for fun. Let's see what happens there. And we'll play with that. Okay, we'll leave it like that for now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an ellipse from the center. Now you can see how the center appears here. Hold down the Option and the Shift so you get a perfect circle. And then draw out from here. And I'm going to fill right to there, right where those intersections are. And, oh, made an error. Before I do that, you want to add a layer. So go to your Layers panel, click here, drag the layer below, make sure you're on that lower layer. Now let's do it. Remember, hold down the Option key and the Shift, and then just drag out to that intersection point again. Which is about there. There we go. And you see how it fills in behind. Not sure if I like that green, but we could always remove it if we don't like it. And like you can move these around like this to alter where these colors are. Yeah, I'm not liking that green. Let's just put in orange there instead. There. Okay, and now you can play around with this. Say you want more yellow near the end. Okay, you could do that. Or say instead of having red there, you want yellow there, you can actually flip things around. You can actually drag the yellow all the way to this side and have the yellow on the outside and the red on the inside if you want to do that. And then you can move the red up to bring some red into it and the orange into the middle like this, and you can just play around with it like that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is actually do another circle on the outside of this, and that's just a plain one. So we're just going to add another layer, drag it to the bottom, and again this one we're just going to use a solid color for this one. So let's just make sure nothing is selected, and we'll switch our fill here to a solid color, and we'll draw an ellipse in the middle. And actually, no, we'll just do the ellipse in the middle. Make sure we're on the right layer. Nope, we're not. We're on this layer. Okay, there we go. And hold on to the Shift and the Option and drag out. This time we're going to go right beyond the edge like that. There we go. Actually, I'm not even sure if I like that. We're going to leave it for now just because it is a tutorial. I'll do all the artistic adjustments later. Okay, the last thing that this guy showed on his tutorial, which was really cool, was drawing some petals around the outside, which is a little bit more complicated, but we're going to do that as well. So we're going to start with the pen tool, and we're going to draw a shape that goes like this. Click here, and then curve it, and then curve it down like this. Okay. And I forgot to say no fill. Let's go back to that. There you go, no fill on that. And yeah, that's, I don't know if I like that. Let's undo that. Okay, let's try again. Okay. One, maybe a little bit lower this time, a bit more curve like that. No, don't like that one either. Okay, so maybe about there. Go like that. And then like this. Nope, don't like it. A little bit wider, like this. And then like this. I think that'll do it. No fill. Yep, that should do it. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take a copy of this, so this shape, take a copy, Command C, Command V, and there's my copy down here. Let me just drag that up. Oops. Oh no, I hate that. Now hold on, let's do no fill. Let's do a copy again. Actually, here, I'll zoom in. Here's one of these tricks about copying. It copies into the center of what you're looking at. So if I zoom in on this, if I zoom in even more, okay. If I take a copy of that and I paste, it just puts it right beside it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this object and we're going to transform it by reflecting it. And we're gonna, I love these little diagrams here that show you how you want to reflect it. I want to reflect it vertically, so I go like that. And then I'm gonna move it over so that these two pieces are touching, like this. And now what you do is you select both objects and you go path and you say join. Oops, now that's not good. It should be a pointy object. Let's see if I've got this incorrect here. Oh yeah, you can see they're not even. So those 2 points have to be touching. So if, oh, let's undo that join. Did I undo that join? Yeah. Okay, now let's go off, click this one, yeah. Now wait till it gets right on there. That's right at the top. There, now they're touching. Okay, so those 2 points are touching. Now if you have both selected and you do a join, path, join, becomes a nice pointy object. Okay, so let's move back just a touch. And now now that it's joined, it's a single object. So we're going to do another copy again and a paste. Okay, and we'll just move this object down below. And all we want to do is just sort of make it a little bit thicker. Okay, so we're going to take that and I'm just going to shrink it down a bit, Shift and Option, shrink it down a touch, and then we're going to move it up until it's in line. There we go, and centered. And there we go. And then all we're going to do is join these two together. So I'm just going to take a line tool, and join these. And same thing here. Join those. And again, we'll do a join. So I'll take this and object path, join, and same thing here. Object, path, join. Okay, so now this is a single object. If I want to fill it with a color, I could fill it with a color. So I will. Let me choose green, and now I've got a green color. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this object. Let's go back to full screen. I'm going to take this object and I am going to duplicate it. So I'm going to copy it. And oh, I'm going to zoom in again just so that when it flips, it's close. Okay, so copy again and then paste. And then this time I am going to transform it and reflect horizontally. Click OK. And now go back. And now I'm going to move this. Oops. I'm going to move this one. grab it. Oh my gosh, that's the problem with. There. I was trying to hold down the mouse button on my MacBook Pro, and it's such a pain with the force touch. So you want this centered. So I'll put it there, and then I'm just going to move it over a touch. And I realize I forgot to do a new layer for this, so it's on the wrong layer. So I'm going to have to move it onto a new layer. So let me select both of these, copy them, I'll cut them, and then go onto my layers and create a new layer, put it on the bottom, and now paste them. Now they should be underneath. Okay, now the goal is to place them centrally. Okay, and I'm just going to zoom in again. And the scrubby zoom, I hate this scrubby zoom. And I'm going to move it so it's centered. Keep that line there, but just so the tips touch there, like that. And I'll do the same on the bottom. And these alignment tools that allow you to know where center is are phenomenal. There we go. Okay, so now go back. And now we're going to select both, hold down the shift key, click the other one like this, and we're going to do the same thing we did with the original shape. First thing we're going to do is we're going to group, and then we're going to use the effect, the distort and transform, and let's have some fun again. Preview, 15 degrees, and then just increase the number. Go around like this, and like, isn't that like super cool? And click OK. There we go. And we're done. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? Anyway, this is the Lotus Symbol tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it.